Awesome. Thank you. Shall I start?
Okay, just give me 1 second. I'll just introduce
Okay.
myself and then we can take it away. Hello, everyone. My name is Saira Gulamani, and I'm a GlobalWe volunteer. I'm based in Dubai at the moment. So I think with the time difference, it's exciting to see everybody at different time zones here. But I will be facilitating this session on behalf of My Three Metaverse. Welcome, Padmaja Surendranath. Thank you for making the time to come to this session. And we will have a brief opportunity towards the end for some questions and answers. So Padmaja, you can take it away from now.
Thank you. But before I start, Saira, I hope you're doing well. We've been hearing really not such great news about the weather in Dubai.
Yeah, we've literally been indoors for the last 6 days, not even stepped out.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're managing. All good. Thank you for asking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I don't know where all of you are from, but thank you for being here and showing up. I'm the founder of My Three Metaverse. I'll kick off with the vision and mission statement and then take you through what we are all about. At My Three Metaverse, we envision a world where culturally responsive psychosocial support is affordable, available, and easily accessible for women who have experienced sexual trauma. We do this by offering multiple learning pathways for survivors to master their symptoms through trauma education that's personalized and customized to their unique needs. So, typical approach to trauma healing involves a combination of psychoeducation, medication, and clinical intervention. But our approach has been to focus on gaining knowledge and learning skills and strategies to master trauma symptoms. So we offer survivors multiple options, and most importantly, we offer them the option to learn as well as practice, not just by themselves, but interpersonally with other survivors and in community as well, because that has been found very helpful for sexual trauma survivors in particular, to overcome their sense of shame to be in community. So we have these options of community learning, self-driven learning, and independent practice. So it is basically an immersive learning platform that uses virtual reality and other emerging technologies. The uniqueness of the platform is that it allows embodied learning, where survivors or learners can retain the skills and strategies that they learn for a much longer time than what is normally available for them in a talk therapy session. See, the platform is also private, safe, and offers a supportive environment where women can, increasingly practice for much harder situations and learning new skills to manage and navigate their trauma symptoms. Another unique aspect is the personalization and the autonomy that it offers. So typically, survivors have the option to meet with their counselors and engage in talk therapy. And they don't have an option to practice. They don't have an option to personalize much beyond what they can share within the 55-minute session. Whereas within this VR-based learning platform, they can create environments, they can set up avatars, and all can be aligned based on their own lived experience. What this also offers is an opportunity for survivors to go beyond and potentially heal domains that have been kind of sensitive, such as sexuality and sexual exploration. Currently, there is no meaningful treatment that's available. So at My Three Metaverse, we are planning to provide opportunities for all those. There are a few unique value propositions that I just touched upon. I want to highlight those again. One of the most important is the experiential learning piece, because psychoeducation cannot happen only during the session when a survivor meets with the therapist and where they learn, in passing in 10, 15 minutes of their, entire session. They need to keep practicing it more and more. And we offer two different types of practices. One is using VR, which allows them to do some virtual role play with male avatars, and it is set up real life simulations where they can create a situation where they want to have sexual consent conversation with an intimate partner, or they want to have a conversation about accommodations, medical accommodations in their workplace, and they want to have a conversation with their male supervisor. these are all very difficult conversations for women to have, especially women who have experienced sexual trauma, who work in male-dominated environments. It's hard for them to speak up for themselves, stand their ground, negotiate their working conditions and all these things. So these are the practice that platform helps with. Not only you can practice in a VR based, virtual reality and avatars, which is not really real, you can also practice with other survivors and get real-time feedback. And it also helps build community. So there are two aspects to this practice that is not available in any other app or any other even real life situations. So the other unique value proposition is that it is based on evidence-based knowledge repository, which is initially curated by generative AI and then fine-tuned by a virtual team of trauma experts. And this content, while it can be generated in English at the first pass, it can be converted into multiple languages using machine learning. And we also have the clinical team and the cultural experts working together to make the content culturally relevant for various different cultures across the world. Just a little bit of a background about myself. I'm a survivor of sexual trauma and domestic violence, and I've been in active recovery for the past 15, 20 years. I work as a solutions architect in Amazon Web Services. I got a degree in education technology about 10, 15 years ago. But then I realized I wanted to really be in this space of trauma education. So I completed a few diploma courses and certificate courses on mental health and trauma on various occasions and continue to do that. A previous version of Maitri Metaverse, which was launched as a nonprofit called Sangvi, won a semi-finalist in a social venture competition that was hosted by Echoing Green back in 2015. Soon after, I also presented at the Asian American Psychological Association in Denver. And during my tenure at Amazon, I also was the founding board member of launching a mental health and well-being employee group at work, and which reached about 1.3 million employees across the world. And this was during COVID, and this was the first affinity group that allowed employees at Amazon to be able to have a private channel, anonymous channel, where they can talk about their mental health issues, they talk about their working conditions, how it is affecting their mental health, and this is very groundbreaking. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. A call to action to all of you. If you're in Boston, I'll be presenting a poster at the 35th Annual Boston Trauma Research Conference that's happening in May 1st and May 2nd. I'm also scheduling a pilot in the fall of this year, seeking volunteers and interns with a particular type of expertise, whether you have trauma and related clinical experience, if you have experience in learning and instructional design or user experience design, or if you are a coder and know how to develop VR, please reach out to me. There's a website here. You can drop your information on the form, and I'll be able to reach out to you. I'm now ready for any questions.
Thank you so much, Padmaja, for such an incredible presentation. We're now open to questions. So if you either want to just raise your hand or put it in the chat, or whichever way you feel comfortable, you can just ask the questions. You have a question? Yes?
Yes. Hi, I'm Nako. Hi. Thank you so much for the presentation, Paramaja. And am I pronouncing your name right? I hope.
Yes.
Thank you. How do you sort of localize the cultural context or adapt to different cultures of your sort of metaverse?
Correct. My intention is to get academic professors and other academicians or experts in the cultural research field. So they'll be invited to be part of the curating committee.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And together with the clinical team, they will be able to create the context. So for example, I can give you an example. It's a very common thing for us to say going down the rabbit hole sometimes, and this has a reference to the story called Alice in Wonderland, where Alice goes down the rabbit hole. For example, somebody who has never read Alice in Wonderland would never understand what this phrase is all about, right? So this is a very simple thing, and we all take certain things for granted, but then some other cultures don't really understand that. So we want to be, but then every culture has something equivalent, and to be able to use that is what makes this learning sticky.
Yes.
Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions? Check.
So I do have a question. How can, this is Mr. Kumar, how can we contribute as a subject matter expertise or as, like any type of financial aid or grant? Shall we just visit the website where we
Yes,
can get
please
already?
visit the website, drop your information in the form, and I'll get back in touch with you about the specifics.
Sure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, Padmaja. This is Valerica. Could
Hi.
you, first of all, congratulations. I know you've been working for this for many, many years,
Thank you.
and it's very exciting to see how far you came with this. But could you talk about the safety? Because I know there are not so many regulations with regards to AI and to metaverse right now. So how about safety of information and practice and all of that of the participants on your website, on your program? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Thank
so
you.
this is evolving as the regulatory landscape evolves. So there are good regulations that are coming out of EU regulating how AI and generative AI and machine learning are used. So whatever is being built around the most highest and the deepest regulatory bodies and making ourselves compliant with those. So that is the primary guardrail. On top of it, there is also safety and security in terms of trauma survivors feeling safe, emotionally safe. So we have options where women can seek different types of support even online, whether it is through having an emotional support companion in terms of a virtual avatar, or seeking out real-time help with the clinician. So there will be partnerships with clinician that also happens.
Thank you.
Thanks for that question. That's very important.
I have a question, if nobody else has a question. What sort of challenges do you face when you're working with, or challenges with the local government officials? Is there anything that you particularly face with them?
So I've not mentioned this. I'm not operational yet. I'm still in the idea phase. I'm still starting to do the pilot. But that is certainly a potential that I constantly think about with taking it internationally to going with each and every country. There is unique challenges that I probably will encounter. So as and when one of the things that the way to mitigate it is to really partner with the local non-governmental organizations that have already been established, that have earned the trust in that community, is the ones that I'll be partnering with, and instead of going all by myself alone. So that way, I hope some of the barriers will be lowered.
Okay, yeah, makes sense, because it's such a sensitive area.
Yeah.
You need to have the government sort of on board, or the officials on board for something.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me as a new entity, to gain trust will be a little uphill of climb. So partnering with local organizations that are already trusted will be a good method.
And I guess also exploring, the metaverse, right? Because it's still a new concept.
New concept, yes.
So it's not something that is already established. People know about it. They're still a bit nervous about getting into the
Right. And no one has really envisioned something that's a social good at such a large scale using these technologies. So that is another It could go either way. People could be excited, or people could be very doubtful about it, skeptical about it.
Sure, sure. Okay, I think
Hi, everyone. Session 2 has just started. So if you'd like to move on to your next room or stay here for the next speaker.
Thank you so much, Padmaja.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Sarah. May I ask a question?
Yes, absolutely.
My name is Shakmano, and I'm the next speaker in this room. Should I stay here?
Yes, please stay here, and I will introduce you. And the name of your organization, please. I'm just
Legal Center for Women's Initiative Sanacism. Can I also share my presentation?
yes, you can. Just let me know if you have the rights to. Yeah, it should be able to share it. Yeah, there you go. We'll just wait for others to come in to the room. It's interesting to see people from, again, all sorts of time zones. I think we'll just give it another few seconds, and then we'll start with this next presentation. Okay, I think we've got everybody in here. So for those who have just joined us, hello everyone. My name is Saira Gulamani, and I am a GlobalWe volunteer. I'm currently based out of Dubai. So if you've been seeing the news, we have had the floods, but we've all survived, thankfully. And I would like to welcome our next presenter, Shaknoza. And Shaknoza, is all yours now. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, dear participants, Virtual Women's Empowerment Expo 2024. My name is Shaknoza Kasanova, and I am glad to welcome you online, and would like to start with the words of gratitude to the organizers for the opportunity to participate today, as well as to share practical experience and talk about our activities. Legal Center for Women's Initiative Sanacism in Kazakhstan. You know that Kazakhstan is a large country, ranking 9th in the world in terms of poverty. The next slide I represent the non-governmental organization, which is called Legal Center for Women's Initiative Sanasizm, which is located in South Kazakhstan in the city of Shymkent. For more than 20 years, the organization has been working in the field of human rights protections, including women's rights. The organization has three priorities: women's access to justice, stop trafficking, and migration. The civil society bridge between people and government. We try to cooperate in our work not only with governmental organizations, but also with various human rights actors, including international organizers. Those our organizations is a member of various international and national coalitions and associations, among the Equator International, for example, PICOM and Astra Network. The organization Sanasizm is also a member of Commission of Human Rights under the President of Kazakhstan and member of Council of, for example, Ombudsman for Human Rights in Kazakhstan also. Our memberships allows us to promote the rights of our beneficiaries. For example, at both national and international levels, our beneficiaries are victims of human trafficking, domestic violence, undocumented persons, migrant workers, and members of their families. On the next slide, I would like to draw your attention to work we are doing under the three areas. First, the phase is access to justice. Within the framework of this area, we are implementing a project together with UNHCR on documentations of persons who don't have documents and statelessness persons. After all, without having identity documents, a person cannot realize the social, economic, and cultural and political rights that belong to him or her at birth. Since 2016, together with UNHCR programs have been implemented which aimed to provide free legal assistance to statelessness persons with Soviet Union passports, unwanted persons in South Kazakhstan, attracting the attention of the government to the need to improve administrative practice of deals with statelessness persons through lobbying legislations. We have signed memorandums of cooperation with Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Justice, and Minister of Health to jointly provide for undocumented persons legal assistance. Our lawyers in 3 regions of Kazakhstan are working in these directions. We have people, unfortunately, who don't have any identity documents, including certifications. Lawyers help people to apply to state and law enforcement agencies, represent their interests and rights. As a result, from, for example, 2019 to 2024, more than 1,100 undocumented persons have been documented. The second focus of our organizations is to stop human trafficking. All our anti-trafficking activities are carried out according to the 4 Ps approach. This is prosecutions, protections, preventions, and operations, partnerships, which is the fundamental framework used worldwide to tackling human trafficking. With this, the framework of the 4P approach, the organizations provide direct assistance to victims of human trafficking, including legal, psychosocial, medical assistance, as well as, if necessary, providing temporary housing for food, and representations, legitimated interests and rights before law enforcement state authorities. We're engaged in the restorations of documents and assistance in the return to homeland in cooperation with, for example, Consulate General, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and international NGO partners. Currently, since April 2019, our organization has launched a national project together against human trafficking through capacity building of civil society organizations, support of U.S. Department of State. The project covered 11 cities of Kazakhstan. We provide free legal assistance to victims of human trafficking. Over 800 exploitations cases were identified between April 2019 and December 2023. Labor exploitations crimes are prevalent. In addition, we conducted trainings for NGOs, the network in 11 cities of Kazakhstan. We conducted trainings for volunteers, so it would help to conduct nutrition campaigns among the populations in the future. Guidance, for example, for enforcement and for NGOs how they can identify and provide professional assistance for victims of human trafficking have been published. Social videos and informational booklets help us to conduct information campaigns and let people know about the work of our organizations. It's very important to realize that all anti-trafficking work is carried out our close cooperation with police enforcement and state authorities. The problem of human trafficking is issue for the whole world, not only for Kazakhstan. Today, our country is only one country that has not yet adopted a separate national law on combating human trafficking. And now historical events are taking place in Kazakhstan. Speaking at the first session of the Parliament of Republic of Kazakhstan, our president of our country introduced to adopt a special law that will provide protections and social supports to citizens who have become victims of human trafficking and that issues. Within technical support, for example, international organizations of migrations and OSCE and other international organizations under the chairman of Minister of Internal Affairs, the Republic of Kazakhstan, a working group was created, which include all subjects of combating human trafficking, to develop a separate draft law on combating human trafficking in the Republic of Kazakhstan. Unfortunately, we doesn't have yet, as I said before, a separate law, which is help to us to continue apply for protect victims of human trafficking. In general, the development and adoption of special law will allow us to develop systematic and comprehensive approach to this problem, analyze the situation in the country, taking into account the high degree of latency and minimize risks, consolidate the interconnections of such important countermeasures as cooperations, preventions, criminal prosecutions, and protections of the rights victims of trafficking. In additional structural changes we have created in the Ministry of Internal Affairs in Kazakhstan, and a special department for combating organized crime has now been created, which will separately deal with the area of combating human trafficking. The police department have designated special investigations who are responsible for identifying, suppressing, protecting, the prevention of human trafficking. We saw that this nowadays in our country will help to especially working with this problem as a human trafficking issues. At the last third area of our work, which I would like to briefly talk about, this is labor migration. The South Kazakhstan is located on the border with Uzbekistan. Moreover, Kazakhstan is more economically developed country in Central Asia compared to other countries, and that is why many low-skilled migrants come to Kazakhstan and legally. Our main tasks is to contribute to the reductions of irregular migrants by increasing the share of workers with regularizing legal status. We raise awareness of migrants workers about their rights and obligations related to their stay at labor activities in Kazakhstan. We emphasize work with female migrants and children. We implement projects with the IOM, and one of them is following project. This is a project which is can help for vulnerable migrants with a special focus on women's empowerment in the context of migrants in Central Asia. We help migrants women to take courses, then to open a business and to start realizing their businesses. We bought equipment so that they could somehow start their own business, and those successful reintegration in Kazakhstan society. And the next slide, you could see some of photos when we are working with, for example, with police enforcement, when we are providing some legal counseling, providing, for example, summer school for volunteers. You could also see photos where migrants staying and waiting in COVID situation to open border and to across their home. We provide to them for example, legal assistance, and we provide to them monetary helps. So I would like to finishing my presentation. And if you have any questions and to know more about our organization, you could see also to find in social medias, our example, links, and to see that how what kind of work we are doing, because you know that from 2001 we are starting work and we have a lot of issues. So you could also to see and introduce yourself. If you have any questions, to answering.
Thank you so much for your presentation. The floor is actually now open to any questions that anybody may have. Either just feel free to just unmute and come in, or put it in the chat. And, get the group here. Anybody have any questions?
This is Padmaja. I wanted to thank you for your presentation. It's really such an important work that you're doing, especially with the trafficking. I'm a trafficking survivor myself, so I really appreciate this report. In terms of rehabilitating the survivors, do you have any other organization that works with you, or do you have a mechanism where you can provide them with that kind of a support?
Thank you very much for your question. It's really important to cooperation with another NGOs, and thank you that you are also a survivor of human trafficking. This is very terrible situation, because you know that our country is very large, and sometimes we can receive information from other cities, yes, so that we have a network NGOs who are helping and providing them necessary help. Unfortunately, in our country also we doesn't have national mechanisms which one is help to, for example, cooperate with government and non-government organizations to provide them professional services. So that first step to create a new law. Then we would like to create a national referral mechanism, which is also help to provide victims of human trafficking for them services.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a comment in the chat from Farah. It says it's a wonderful initiative taken since 2001. I'd like to learn if online or hybrid women empowerment relation courses are offered or not for the migrants. Is there a room for collaboration or any other way towards this as a trainer online? Is there anything available online or some training that can be done?
Is that question for me? Yes.
Yes.
Am I right? Yeah, we are also providing online training. Could please you can also contact with us, because you know that we provide training in, for example, migrants language, because we have migrants from Kyrgyzstan, from Tajikistan, and from Pakistan. We also provide to them informational campaigns also in their language. If you would like to know about this more information, we also can share with you, and can also to invite, or we can participate online how and to share experience how we can to work together, how we provide to them help services for migrants, especially women and children.
That's great. Thank you. Farah, I hope that answers your question. I have just a quick question. In terms of creating an awareness, that this organization exists and these are the things that you're doing, how easy is it for you to create that awareness in your country?
Awareness is one of the important point for prevention. Example, of course, Without financial support, it's difficult. So when we have international support from other international organizations, one of the good methods for a campaign, this is that we created social videos and we're distributing these social videos through public buses, where most of people can see information about human trafficking issues, because not all people know about this issue. In airport and also bus stops, we give them awareness campaign materials.
Excellent, great. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Okay, I think if there's no further questions, we're going to move, I think, to the last session of the virtual expo. I think, yeah, there's no other questions. And I think we will, yeah, I think people are starting to move rooms again. So thank you for that. And the last one, I think it's most likely going to be Padmaja again.
Thank you.
Or any other
I don't know if there's anybody else who's a presenter.
Yeah, I don't see any other presenter in the room, but if we can just wait a minute, then this would be your room again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is where we are. We don't have any other presenters here. So let me welcome the Maitri Metaverse. Padmaja, please take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I don't know where you are from in the world. My name is Padmaja. I'm the founder of Maitri Metaverse. I'm going to launch my presentation now. So 1 in 3 women, approximately 852 million women globally, have experienced sexual violence at least once in their lifetime. And that breaks down to 22% in high-income countries and Europe, and 25% in the Americas. So the WHO has titled this as a global pandemic, something as severe as a global pandemic. We can understand that there is an impact on the individual woman who has undergone this experience, but there is also a societal impact and why we must act with urgency. In 1995, a study in the US found out it cost $36 billion annually to help women recover from this. But the more recent 2021 EU study found out it costs $350 billion in US. So as you can imagine, the cost to the society is very high and we must act. Even though it is proven that seeking therapy and help is really effective, many victims do not seek support. And if you look at survivors who are from underrepresented minorities, it's even less. And I'm from South Asian origin, so I'm looking at the number of Asian survivors who are seeking support, which is very pathetically very low. And this is what we want to address. Maitri Metaverse envisions a world where culturally responsive psychosocial support is affordable, available, and easily accessible for women who have experienced sexual trauma. Our mission is to offer multiple learning pathways for survivors to manage their symptoms through trauma education that is personalized and customized to their unique needs. Typically, trauma healing has 3 different approaches. It is a combination of psychoeducation, medication, and clinical intervention. Our solution focuses on gaining knowledge and learning skills and strategies to master trauma symptoms. And we enable this by offering not only a mechanism to learn, but also to practice. And not only do this alone by yourself, but also with building interpersonal relationships and learning in community. So there are 3 options within Maitri Metaverse that allows for self-driven learning called Academy. And there is a place where they can practice using VR, which is called Priestess Pavilion. And there is a community that is the Maitri Metaverse where women can learn together and build relationships. So My3 Metaverse is basically a VR-based immersive learning platform. It is powered by generative AI, and it uses virtual reality for women to interact with. It also allows them to have what is called embodied experiential learning, where the skills and strategies they learn can be retained for a much longer time than what is usual. It allows women private, safe, and supportive environment. It allows them to incrementally increase their ability to tolerate more distressful situations through practice. What is not available today and what is available through My3 Metaverse platform is the autonomy that survivors can gain and personalization that they can achieve to their own healing modalities, which modalities they want to choose, how they want to approach it, and make it all align with their own lived experience. The opportunity is also there for them to go beyond just trauma healing and explore other sensitive domains such as sexuality in the privacy of their homes. Currently, there is not a meaningful treatment available in the regular options and pathways. So some of the unique value proposition of My3 Metaverse is that it offers experiential learning. A little bit more about it. It offers two different types of practice. Practice is the one that makes it experiential. It's one thing to learn concepts, but another thing to understand what we learned and actually implement it. So the practice can be based with in a VR virtual reality environment where they can role play with male avatars, real life simulations. For example, say if they are looking to have intimate relationships, they can have sexual consent conversations. They can practice that with a male avatar. They can see how they respond, how they can respond dynamically to the male avatar's questions, or if there is a pushback, how she can stand her ground. And or it could be in a workplace situation where she's wanting to speak up in a meeting of a room full of men, and she's not very comfortable doing that. She can practice it in a real life simulation using VR. There is also opportunity for her to practice with other survivors, and this is very important for women who experience sexual trauma. There is always a shame about their experience that can be addressed when they are together in community with other survivors. And this is also possible. The other ways that My3 Metaverse is unique in that it uses generative AI to build a knowledge repository that contains evidence-based strategies. And this repository is then curated, validated, and fine-tuned by a team of trauma experts. The content, while it would be generated in English in the first round, can be rendered multilingual through machine learning and through putting together a team of cultural experts. We make the content also culturally relatable. This is my background. My name is Padmaja. My life experience is also as a survivor of both sexual trauma and domestic violence. I've been in recovery for 15, 20 years now. I work as a solutions architect at Amazon Web Services, and I got a degree in education technology, but then soon I realized this is my passion. This is what I wanted to work on. So I went on to educate myself on global mental health and trauma topics since then. Since 2012, I've been doing that. A previous version of My3 Metaverse, I launched it as a nonprofit called Sangvi, and it won a social venture competition back in 2015 as a semi-finalist. This was hosted by Echoing Green. I also presented at the Asian American Psychological Association, and at Amazon, I launched an employee wellness group for mental health and well-being, which got rolled out to 1.3 million employees. So here is my website. We are doing a pilot in fall of 2024. The website also has space for you to drop your information. I will be getting in touch with you depending on what what is your question. If you are in Boston, please stop by the annual Boston Trauma Research Conference happening in May 1st and 2nd. I'll be doing a poster presentation there. I'm now open for questions.
Thank you so much, Padmaja. Does anybody have any questions? Because I think we're likely to move into the main breakout room in the next 30 seconds or so.